automotive visionaries.
And if we pull this off, we're going to make a major change in the way Americans drive and the footprint that we have on this world.
A speed demon fit for spies and celebrities.
I think James Bond could be eco-friendly if he was driving a car like that.
An instantaneous acceleration that will blow your mind. We're getting an inside look at what might just be the future of automobiles. Radical rides, cutthroat competition, and outside-of-the-box technology. We may be running out of gas, but we're not running out of fuel. I'm Jonathan Levitt, and I'm on a quest for the leanest, meanest, and greenest wheels.
3, 2, 1.
Today, we're getting an inside look at what it means to go electric.
I am behind closed doors at Tesla Motors to check out the hottest alternative vehicle on the planet. It has race car-like performance, unmatched range, and styling that is out of this world, all with 0 emissions.
The Tesla Roadster is still in the final stages of development, but they're letting me go behind the scenes to see what makes this hot rod so unique, under the agreement that I don't snoop around too much. Apparently, they've got some secrets they're not quite ready to reveal.
I am here in Silicon Valley at Tesla Motors with David, and we are standing in front of the all-new Tesla Roadster.
Yeah, this is it. This is the electric supercar. It does 0 to 60 in about 4 seconds. It's got a top speed of over 130 miles an hour. Does all that 100% electric with 0 emissions, and it gets over 200 miles on a single charge.
Yeah, range has always been the issue with electric cars. This thing gets over 200 miles in one charge.
This is really a case where you can have your cake and eat it too. You can have the performance of a Ferrari, but over double the efficiency of a Prius. So, again, it's the best of both worlds in one car.
That's incredible.
Despite its potential, the electric cars had a checkered history, and there's yet to be one that's managed to stay on the streets. But these forward thinkers at Tesla Motors, in the heart of the Silicon Valley, are aiming to change not just the electric car's reputation, but the world we live in.
An electric car like ours uses about half the energy per mile that the best hybrid car uses today. And none of that is oil. So from the perspective of the environment, global warming, carbon footprint, electric cars are the most efficient, the cleanest technology you can choose. In terms of freeing us from our addiction to oil, they use none.
And this hot new Roadster's already making headlines. The media's buzzing about principal investor Elon Musk, who made his fortune in the tech industry and has already put down nearly $40 million. Not to mention the list of high-profile customers, including George Clooney and the founders of Google. But despite the hype, starting an automobile company is no easy task, and the risks are huge. So what inspired CEO and co-founder Martin Eberhard to take the leap?
I guess I started off looking for my next car. So I looked around and thought, somebody must make an electric car that's really designed to be a performance car. And actually nobody was. And the more I looked into it, the more I thought it was possible to do that, and also that I wouldn't be the only person in the world that wanted a car like that, a car that's, on the one hand, a great and fun and beautiful car, and on the other hand, doesn't burn gasoline.
I have to see what's under the hood. Can we do that?
Yeah, actually, the interesting stuff's in the back. Let's take a look.
Okay.
Wow, David's gonna let us see what makes the Tesla tick.
So for a sports car, it's actually important that the car be practical too. You can actually fit a full set of golf clubs in here.
Great, not too bad. Not too bad for a sports car.
Not too bad at all. Beyond that, it's pretty simple. I mean, you've got the power electronics module, and this is the computer that sort of runs the show. You've got the ESS, that's our fancy word for battery pack, energy storage system, and you can see the liquid cooling bottle there.
Oh, so this is pretty important for the life of the battery pack, isn't it?
That's right, because the battery is thermally managed, meaning that we both liquid and air cool it, and we also heat it to keep it at a constant temperature.
Can we take a look under here?
Sure. Right over here,
Oh,
we've
that's
got,
it, okay.
we've got another PEM
Oh, nice.
for a quick show and tell.
Okay.
So right here we've got 3 megapole custom inverter poles for the 3-phase motor control. Charge input circuitry to your left. Here's the main controller board and a fan controller that controls the PEM and the motor fans.
Would you say then that the battery pack and the PEM, these two components are the real heart of this car?
Definitely, and they're also the heart of Tesla's intellectual property. It's where all of our engineering time and expertise has been spent on this car. Like I was saying, you know, this body, it's great, it's beautiful, it's real flashy. The interior has all been done by Tesla as well, but where more of our expertise resides and where we really hope to make a difference in the automotive industry in general is our custom drivetrain. So motor, PEM, ESS, that's where we're going forward.
Very cool.
The energy storage system is packed with nearly 7,000 individual lithium-ion battery cells, just like the ones you'd find in your laptop.
The thought of using what's in my laptop to power my car, let alone my sports car, seems a little odd. How's that work, really?
Well, yeah, it is a little odd until you think about it. The reason that these are used in laptops and camcorders, they're so energy dense. They're really efficient cells. And what we've done is we found a way to make them play nice in an automotive environment.
David's agreed to let Jason, a senior development engineer, show me more.
Jason, would you consider this the engine of the car?
Yes, this is an early prototype, but it is the motor and transmission. So this right here is the engine of the car.
That's a lot smaller than I would imagine.
right.
You know, in my car, it's huge, right?
That's right.
Takes up the entire under the hood. It's all there. How many moving parts are in here?
So not counting the two bearings, there's one moving part. The basic components of this are the rotor and the stator. And the rotor is the part that rotates, and the stator is the part that is in the actual housing. So it's an electric motor. Interestingly, the AC induction motor was invented by Nikola Tesla, which is where we get the name of our company from.
Well, Nikola Tesla was one of the great American inventors, and he's one that we should have been taught about in school. He was every bit the giant that Thomas Edison and all the rest of these guys were, but we didn't learn about him. Among his like 700 patents and many, many important inventions was the AC induction motor. The AC induction motor is the kind of motor we all have in our washing machines and blenders and things, but it's also the kind of motor we use in our car. And I thought that it was time for him to get credit for some of his inventions, and I thought it made a cool name for the company.
Naming Tesla Motors after an underdog inventor fits perfectly with the spirit of a company that's trying to reinvent the way the world thinks about personal transportation.
Tesla Motors is a blend of Silicon Valley technology and traditional automotive technology. Tesla, it really is a synergy between these two types of engineers that come together and make a car that is, on the one hand, very recognizably a high-performance and beautiful car and does all the things a car is supposed to do, and on the other hand, has entirely new technology under the hood.
And all this new technology makes for a very different kind of working environment.
I've noticed throughout here, this is the cleanest garage I've ever seen, by the way. And I know you're petroleum-free, right? I mean, that's the whole point. No
That's
gas.
right.
It's electric.
That's right.
But I do see some oil here. So is that the only oil that we see in this entire car, or how does that work?
Sure, so the fact that we don't burn any petroleum is not only fantastic for all of the reasons that we're doing it, but you get the added benefit of having a shop with no need for exhaust fans, no fumes, no noise of the engine starting. But moving parts, most moving parts still need lubrication.
But no gas, and as a result, no emissions.
No emissions from this vehicle. Obviously, there are emissions from the source that's generating the electricity, but the fantastic thing is we are getting to benefit from the economies of scale. All of that electricity is being generated already, and so the power plants are managing their emissions as well.
And if we move to another type of system, let's say solar, we eliminate it completely. And there's no reason for us not to. Well, I have to tell you, Nikola would be proud.
I hope so.
Yeah, you guys are great. I can't wait to get my own, actually.
Me too.
Yeah.
And the Tesla team didn't stop the innovating with the car's engine. They're breaking the mold with the frame as well.
David and I are standing in front of the skeleton of the Tesla car, right?
That's right. This is the extruded bonded aluminum chassis. What's interesting here is when we're building an EV, you're looking at a couple things. One, you want to keep the mass down. You got to keep the car light, and you want to keep it very strong and stiff because it is a sports car. So we looked at how race cars are put together, and we realized that's the kind of chassis that would best suit our purposes. It's an aluminum tub type design, and what this allows us to do is build a car with a low curb weight that gives us that amazing range and performance that we're after.
Normally, I guess we'd find, what, steel in our traditional cars?
That's right. So for an SUV, you might have a ladder type construction where it's like an H pattern of steel beams with a body bolted on top. With a passenger car, it's usually a stamped steel floor pan. But neither one of those rivals what a race car gives you in terms of chassis capability for handling, stiffness, and safety.
There's no doubt about it. This baby's a real looker. But what I'm dying to know is, how do you charge her up?
Well, each car comes with a charging station, which is this device right here. This is something that you would have installed in your garage. It usually runs off your dryer circuit, so an electrician would come in and wire this for you. This is what gives you that quick charge up time. So you basically treat your car like a cell phone, where you plug it in overnight and it's ready for use in the morning. Of course, what makes our car a little bit different from the EVs of the past is that there's a charging unit on board. So when you're out on the road, you can plug into a standard wall outlet or whatever power source is available. And that's accomplished with a mobile charging kit that has a series of different adapter heads on it. So if you're out on the road and you need to top off, you can do that without using this charging station.
Although the mobile charging kit's convenient for charging up in a pinch, it's not as fast as the regular charging station. So Tesla's creating agreements with hotel chains and restaurants to house their ultra-quick built-in charging station. This will let Tesla owners charge up in a hurry while they're out on the town. And looking into the future, it seems certain that battery technology will continue to improve.
Every year they carry a little bit more energy, every year they cost a little bit less money. Today we can make electric cars that are a little bit expensive but still are great performance. 10 years from now we should be able to make a car with 400 miles driving range and would cost actually less than the battery pack in our current car. I think the future of cars is definitely electric.
This confidence has taken Tesla Motors a long way, but there are still some who question going electric as an eco-friendly solution to our petroleum dependence.
And what about this argument that we're simply moving the tailpipe down the road to the power plant? I mean, we're still using coal to create the electricity, right?
That's true, but that is not a full analysis. If you look at how efficient the car itself is, you realize that even using the dirtiest sources of electricity, meaning like a coal plant, our net emissions are still lower. Electricity is energy agnostic, so it can come from dirty sources, but it can also come from clean sources like solar or wind, for example.
Buy an electric car and put solar panels on the roof of your house. That's what I'm doing. The solar panels on my house will not only power my entire house, but provide enough electricity for all the driving I do too. So I won't be using any oil, natural gas, coal, anything. It'll all be solar.
It's clear that this car could change the future of automobiles forever. But what about an option for those of us who don't have an extra 100K lying around? While the Tesla team is working away, let's check out an electric car that's on the roads right now and starts at an easier to stomach 13 grand. Mark Korchin founded Green Motors in Berkeley, California, and sells the 100% electric-powered Zen car.
I think of the Zen as the Tesla for the rest of us. This car has been driving in Europe for about 15, 20 years as a diesel. And Zen orders these cars from Europe without the diesel motor and installs the electrics. So this car has been going on the roads of Europe for years. It doesn't drive like a golf cart.
There's no special charging station. The Zen simply plugs in to any standard outlet and will recharge in as little as 4 hours. And how do the batteries compare?
Runs on standard lead-acid batteries because those are the most forgiving and cheapest battery technology that is available today. You could take this car and you could put lithium-ion batteries, but it would double or triple the cost.
And the savings don't stop there.
For every $5 that you spend in gas, I spend about $1 in electricity to go the same distance, so it's about 1/5 the cost. You'll continue to save money in the fact that you're not having to do oil changes, valve alignments, all of those fairly messy things that we normally do with our gas-powered car.
There are, however, two things that Mark admits cause people to hesitate a little when considering a Zen car. A full battery provides a range of just 35 miles, and the car is classified as a neighborhood electric vehicle, or NEV, meaning it's only permitted to reach speeds of up to 35 miles per hour.
This car may not be right for everybody, but it's going to be right for about 95% of us, and some of the trips that we take. It really is a town car. When I need to drive the kids to school, I can put them in this car. If I need to go to the supermarket or to the drugstore, I can get into this car.
Mark knows that most people won't be able to use the Zen as their one and only means of transportation, but he's trying to get people to rethink the way they drive in order to maximize their electric-powered trips.
It is a different way of thinking. I actually feel that more than selling electric cars, I'm selling a paradigm shift. If I can get people to understand that they actually drive a lot more than they think around the city streets, And also that it's very possible to get from A to B without the freeway.
To show off the Zen, Mark often parks the car around town, and it always draws curious onlookers.
I think that it would probably be great for people who want to just commute around the city, and that applies to many of us, myself included. I don't drive very far every day, but it'd be nice to have something where I could just plug it in and go. It looks like a great car. I haven't driven it yet, but maybe I'll get a shot someday.
There's an epiphany moment that occurs when you're driving this car. And you're going to realize that at this moment you're not polluting. You're not doing what 99% of the cars are doing around you. And it just feels good.
This is a great option to get me around town, but I'm not convinced it'll take care of my need for speed. So let's check back in with Tesla. I still need to get behind the wheel. But first, David's taking me back in time to see how it all started.
This historic relic is one of the early mules that Tesla had.
Oh, hold on, a mule? What is a mule?
A mule is a hand-built concept car. And keep in mind that this was what Martin Eberhard used to get his early funding to get Tesla going. So it's a very important car from a historical standpoint.
So how did Tesla Motors get from this one mule to being on the verge of launching a sold-out fleet of sports cars? Turns out there were a lot of prototypes in between, and they're giving me an insider's tour.
Let's take a look at our Aerobuck.
This thing here?
Yep. This is basically a full-scale model of the Roadster's body, and this is something that you would put inside of a wind tunnel to test for aerodynamic efficiency. And so what we do is it's made out of actually resin and pulp, and it's a full-scale mock-up of the car. And it's got every detail that would affect the aerodynamic drag of the finished vehicle. And in fact, if we step over here, you can see that we're able to test both with the top on as well as with the top off, because it is a Roadster.
Cool. So this is an exact replica of that car. And this is probably a pretty heavy piece here, isn't it?
It is, but it's a wonderful display item to explain to people exactly how you go from a concept or what you see on a computer screen all the way to a finished vehicle like this.
Next, the Tesla engineers made a series of prototypes to test out on the street.
Jason, I got to tell you, we're standing in front of one of your cars. It looks like it's been through the ringer here. What's going on with this car?
It does look like that, though this car, I like to refer to it as the Millennium Falcon because it's one of our fastest cars, though it does look a little rough. It went through some very harsh testing in Europe, some ride and handling testing, specifically pave testing, which is extremely harsh cobblestone, very calibrated cobblestone testing.
What's fascinating here is we never get to see this part of the process. When you buy a car today, you drive it off the lot and you assume, hey, there it is. But here, we're seeing you build a car from the ground up.
I've been working on cars since I was 16 years old, and I'm still just amazed at how much it takes to build an automobile. It's a very complicated machine.
You and your team, you're pioneers. How do you feel about working on a car like this and what you're doing, not only now, but for the future?
I never dreamed that I could have the best of so many worlds. Sports cars, environmentally friendly, things like that.
You're changing the world.
Hope so.
All right, well, I'll let you get back to work. This thing needs some work, some repair. So, thanks a lot, Jason.
Meet some of the lucky folks who have a brand new Tesla Roadster in their future. Tesla Motors has set up events around the country so their customers can get a sneak peek. Today, they're in Newport Beach, California.
I was looking at other cars and, hybrids, and they just kind of put me to sleep, really, to be honest. I just wasn't impressed. So I was kind of going to shelve the idea, and then I saw the Tesla zero emissions, and I thought, there we go.
The majority of people who have come today are owners of the car who have not yet seen the car. They've all put deposits down, signed ownership contracts. So this is really their first experience seeing the car and riding in the car and really experiencing it.
That's my first ride. It won't be my last. It was fantastic. I love it.
So what's the biggest draw for these fervent sports car fanatics?
That car handles like a sports car. And that's what I liked about it.
To be able to have that kind of fun and performance and know that you're not putting any exhaust fumes out there. I mean, it's really exciting. The quietness of it is kind of it's like being in a quiet jet plane where you're getting all that feel of the speed without the noise. I enjoyed it very much. We may order another one.
And if you're feeling like spending $100K on a car is a little out of your league, the Tesla team's thinking about that too.
So Tesla's goal is to grow the company into a full-fledged car company with cars that meet most people's needs. We start off at the high end with the Roadster. Our next car is designed to be a 5-seater sedan that'll be able to be used for your family car every day and take trips with it and so on. It's one car at a time, taking as big a step as we could possibly take and survive before we can take the next step.
Finally, I've convinced David to let me experience the Roadster firsthand.
Oh. Wow. That's awesome.
This is it.
That's pretty. Did you turn the car on? Because I can't hear a thing. I love it already.
Riding in the Tesla is an experience like no other. It's gorgeous, virtually silent, and it accelerates like a dream, all without using any gas.
It drives like a regular car, although you know you're in a sports car. I'm low to the ground. This thing has so much power. I can feel you're not even close to pushing this.
No, not even close.
And you don't hear the rumbling of the engine.
You don't miss it, right?
I don't miss it at all. You know what I get here? I get the environment, I get the surroundings. I'm looking at this beautiful landscape, the water to my left. I don't think it gets any better than this. Sign me up. This is fantastic. And the thought that there are no emissions, it's good for the environment. I mean, you hear that car in front of us? Yeah. Wasting gas, polluting the air. Wow.
Seeing as you're keen on all this top secret stuff, check this out.
Must be important. David!